Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. If you're not familiar with my channel, my name is Tanya. I'm a part-time reseller. I resell on Poshmark, eBay, Etsy, and I also have an antique booth. And today's video is gonna solely focus on my antique booth. I'm gonna give you 5 tips for starting your antique booth business and give you a small tour of my updated space. If you saw my previous video, you saw that I had a pop-up sale, pop-up shop. So I took items out of my antique booth and now I'm putting everything back in, plus a few new items, and just rearranging everything. So I'm going to show you the process because it's a lot of work hauling around items. I have a small little car and I was able to fit all of that in my car, but today I wanted to make things a little easier. I borrowed my dad's car. He has an SUV, so hopefully it's going to be a little easier, but still I still have to haul all of this inside, and I'm going to show you that journey because starting an antique booth business is going to be work, regardless of what items you select to sell. If you're going to be selling clothes, if you're going to be selling jewelry or toys, whatever it is, it's going to be work. You're going to have to be hauling stuff in regularly, so you just have to mentally prepare yourself. So I'm going to show you a bit of that. For me, it's harder because I'm on the top floor, so I have to go up and down stairs and up and down the elevator. Today I'm going to use the freight elevator. So if you guys are interested in this video, go ahead and give me a like, thumbs up, and stay tuned. Okay, so I will be doing a voiceover just because my antique store plays music and I don't have the rights to the music, so I don't want YouTube to give me a strike. But to start off, every antique store is different. Every city, every state is going to be different. So this is something that you really have to do your own research on. So if there's a particular store that you're interested in having a booth in, I would recommend to just go and introduce yourself. Go to the front desk, ask if they have any available spaces. And obviously you're gonna have to learn, the policies, the rent, any commissions that you have to pay. At my store, I'm in Southern California. I'm at Pomona Antique Mart. I do have to pay a monthly rent for my booth. I have a 10 by 10 space and I have to pay a commission on each sale. So you can also find out if your particular antique store is more flexible and more lenient. For example, my antique store, they allow for handmade items. They also allow for, electronics, video games, comic books. So it's a lot more diverse than just antiques. So definitely get out there and consider the opportunity. As far as seller's permit, business licenses, insurance, my store did not require any of that. I do have a seller's permit because I have a registered business, so I got that on my own, and I have a business license, but my particular store did not require that. All I had to do was give my first and last month's rent. But again, it's going to vary by state, it's going to vary by store. Just go ahead and ask. So let's start with the tips. Tip number 1 would be once you've narrowed down a store, visit that store multiple times a week at completely different times. So try and go on a weekend, try and go on a weekday, in the morning, in the evenings, as many times as you can, so you can size up the crowd and see if they get a lot of visitors. Is it dead all the time? Maybe you love that store, but they just don't get a lot of traffic. So it's not really going to be beneficial to you if you start a business inside of a store that just doesn't get any traffic. So I would definitely try and visit as much as possible at different times, just so you can get an idea of the crowds and the customer base that they have. My cart looks like. Hopefully none of it falls off. I'm gonna have to push this in separate because it's not gonna fit. Tip number 2 would be to choose the location of your booth wisely. So once you pick your store and you ask if they have spaces available, if they have multiple spaces available, look at all of them. Take the location into consideration. My store is 3 floors. There's the basement, the main floor, and the top floor, which is the second floor. I'm on the top floor because at the time it was the only space available and I saw it and I immediately fell in love with it. But now that I've been there for a few years, looking back, I wish I would have waited for a space on the main floor. So I'm in Southern California and we get really hot summers. And guess what? There's no air conditioning on the second floor. So in the summer, when it's 100, 110, guess what? It feels like it's 120, 125 on that top floor. So a lot of people don't like going up there in the summer. So guess what? Sales are really slow in the summer. So definitely take things like that into consideration. Also, when you're visiting the store, you'll notice which areas get the most traffic. Some people don't like going into the basement. Some people just don't like going up and downstairs. So definitely visit the store and choose the location wisely. Tip number 3 would to bring in multiple price points. So whatever it is that you end up selling in your booth, having multiple price points is only going to benefit you because remember you have to make your rent. So you can make it quickly by selling high ticket items. So items that have a higher price point, but you need to understand that there is a diverse customer base, so not everyone is going to be able to afford more expensive items. So you definitely want to bring in a variety of items, have some high ticket items, but also you after your first month you're going to be able to see what your average sales price is. So you're going to notice, hey, my $20 items sell a lot. You know, the most items that I sell are between $20 and $25. So that's the price point that you definitely want to stick to and bring in the most items of. But I would definitely recommend to have a few higher ticket items. Also take into consideration that some items might get lost or damaged, so you definitely don't want to bring in only luxurious items because you are taking a risk by having them there. I also don't know how every store handles, theft, for example, and it's just a part of business. Some items are going to get lost and damaged, so just keep that in mind. But by bringing in a variety of items, a variety of prices, it's only going to benefit you and set you up for success. I just spent 2 hours organizing everything. It took forever, but I'm happy with the results for now, and I'm gonna give you a look around of everything that I have. So this is actually footage before I had my pop-up sale. I completely forgot to record the finished look at the booth. So this is my space, number 512. We're on the top floor of Pomona Antique Mart. I sell clothing and I also sell decor, like home decor, home goods, a few hard goods. This is my little mannequin. So I like the mannequins I purchased on my own. This bookcase I purchased on my own. I added it. It's just from IKEA. But all of the racks against the wall were already included with my booth, which is why it was so attractive to me because I really didn't have to add any new furnishings. The wire racks are mine. So the wire racks are what I take in and out of my booth whenever I do pop-up shops. As you can see, I bring in home goods, and these are the tags that I use for my clothing. We're kind of old school. We have to tag everything by hand and it just gets recorded by our booth number. I know a lot of other antique stores have barcode systems. I wish we had it, but we're old school. So now I'm going to give you a tour of other booths in the antique mall, and this leads me to tip number 4, which is to set yourself apart and stand out. So your space that you rent, your 10 by 10 space or whatever it is that you end up choosing, you have the unique opportunity to paint it and decorate it any way you want. So as you can see, there's like some tiki based booths. This one was more eclectic and you really want to set yourself apart. So as you can see, I'm not the only one that sells clothes. There are multiple booths that sell clothes, but like for example, this one sells a lot of leather and they have artwork. This booth is all focused on records. They have a lot of vinyl. So there are definitely ways that you can set yourself apart. And even just like the color, the setup of your booth, this booth sells a lot of, Asian art. So tip number 5 is to really commit to your new business. Congratulations on making it this far, and I would recommend to create a schedule, visit regularly, and think of replenishing often, because the months go by quick and empty shelves are not attractive. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from me. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave any questions down below, and like always, I'm here every Monday. Thanks. Bye.